Hey everyone, I'm here with Coach Whitney, who is the newest coach to join us on Team BB Art. She has been a certified trainer for 3 years. She is certified through OFNC for nutrition and fitness coaching online. And she just has so many skills and expertise that I'm really excited for you all to learn from her. So, Whitney, I'd love to know a little bit more about you. Give us like the overview, and then we'll dive into deeper your story and background.
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say I've been in the fitness space for over 10 years, helping out friends and family with their workouts and their nutrition, but didn't actually get that certification till 2022 when everyone was just like, why do you not do this like for a living? So I officially began taking clients. Other than that, I spend a lot of time deep diving into nutrition, the science of muscle growth, gut health. That's kind of what I look into in my free time. So that's what I'm passionate about.
Yeah, I love it. So you've been kind of into fitness for 10 years. What got you into fitness?
It was actually one of my best friends growing up. She just started badging me into her mom's gym with her, and we started going on runs. Like she was doing it, so I just tagged along and noticed that I got more and more confident and I enjoyed, becoming stronger. So that was kind of the start of it for sure.
Did she teach you how to like lift?
We were kind of just copying her mom's plan. We were figuring it out together. We stuck to machines a lot. I truly learned to lift when I did a study abroad semester in
Oh,
Spain. The gyms are very small there, and the owners don't really like people to work out incorrectly in their gym. So they taught me everything I knew to start out and gave me a plan, taught me about form. That was when I was about 21. So, yeah.
wow. I feel like we all just need to fly to Spain and learn proper form from these gym owners.
Yes.
What were some of the things you struggled with in your own fitness journey?
Well, it was really hard figuring out how to actually look different, I would say. I felt better, but it actually does take a lot of precision, I would say, to change your body composition, your muscle to fat ratio. I felt like I was chasing skinny for many years and not able to really get there. So, obviously, that can really harm your relationship with food, restricting food, not really getting results because I wasn't fueling. So, I was not able to grow enough muscle to really see like a huge difference. So that was probably the biggest struggle is like chasing that physique transformation and not knowing how to get there. Like it wasn't cutting out food, but then I also was too afraid to eat more. So, that was definitely the toughest part in the beginning there.
So, kind of feeling like you didn't really have the knowledge to build muscle, achieve the aesthetic that you wanted. And it was kind of like, I just have to eat less, but then you're getting skinnier and it wasn't really achieving the result you wanted.
Exactly.
What did that look like? Were you just skipping meals or under eating, or what did that look like?
I didn't really know how to track calories. So, yeah, I was just making portions really small and not really realizing it and just thinking if I just eat less, then I will look better and better. But yeah, it was just like two small portions, feeling hungry, not really knowing how many calories I was eating, and not knowing I was probably eating only 1,500 a day most days, which led to overeating on the weekends because I was deprived. So it was like, chasing my
Yeah.
tail.
And what's your maintenance now?
I can honestly maintain anywhere from like 2,200 to 2,400. So to be 1,000 below that is
I
yikes.
know, I know. I'm the same way. My maintenance is like 2000 to 2200, and I used to be the same way. Like, oh, I can only eat 1300, but then on the weekends you binge, and then the average ends up being like 2000 anyway. So,
I know, exactly.
yeah, yeah. Can I ask how tall you are?
I'm 5'4".
Okay, okay. I
Yeah.
gotta learn your secrets. I'm 5'5", so
Yeah.
I need
It's just
to
a lot of muscle.
work on my muscle with you. So tell
Yeah.
me, like, how did that change? Like, how did you get out of that chasing skinny mindset into a more chasing muscle mindset?
It was honestly on Instagram. I started seeing girls on Instagram eating over 2,000 calories a day, and you got to be careful because not everyone is eating what they're saying they're eating. But I saw ladies get really strong and hitting big numbers in the gym that I didn't even think girls could hit. I honestly had this misconception that I should be doing weights, right? But like in my mid 20s, I'm 31 now. In my mid 20s, I didn't really have any strength goals because I had assumed incorrectly that if you're a girl, like you're not going to hit like a 200-pound squat. Like that's a big scary number. Like there's no way. But as I saw girls on Instagram hitting these numbers and seeing how much weight they had, I realized I can be that strong. I'm not going to look masculine in any way, shape, or form. And the stronger I got, the more muscle I grew, and just the more I was able to maintain leanness, and the
Hmm.
more hungry I was. So I was like eating a little more. I was seeing some muscle growth. I was just like, huh, something's going on here. Starting to put the pieces together. And then it wasn't until I officially hired a coach that she was like, you need to be eating 2,200 a day. I didn't believe her, but I was like, I'll do it. I'll do it. I honestly lost 5 pounds in the first month just by eating 2,200 every day because I wasn't binging as much. And I
Yeah.
was like, okay, I started to lean out right away and have even more energy for my workouts. And I was just like, okay, I get it now.
Yeah, so crazy. I think we see that a lot with our clients too, of like we give them even for some women like 1,700 calories a day. That's just like a number that they're like, "Oh my God, I could never eat that much." But then they do it and they're like, "Wait, why am I losing weight, but I'm eating more?" It's because you're not binging and you
Yeah,
have the energy to actually do your workouts and like your expenditure and like it just the maths, you know?
absolutely.
Yeah. So tell me more about your first experience working with a coach. What were the biggest things you learned? What would you say to anybody who's considering working with a coach and how it helped you?
I would say the biggest thing is just that almost mental relief of someone knows what's going on and knows what I need to do. So I don't have to know everything anymore. I don't have to stay up till 2 a.m. like researching what should I bulk, should I cut, like
Yeah.
how much should I be eating? Like she knows. And, I knew this coach was under the umbrella of a dietitian, other people with way more experience. So I really trusted the company, trusted her. Like I knew she wasn't just like someone who did an NASM certification and is just on her way. Like she knew
Yeah.
her stuff. And just that trust, I just could trust the process. And when I'm feeling bad about my progress or feeling like, am I even making progress? She's grounding me. She's like, look at this, look at this. We can see a clear difference. Really painting a vision for me to know that we are headed somewhere with our plan, with our process, and that we're
Yeah.
going in the right direction.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. I think that point about somebody evaluate, like a third party, unbiased person evaluating your progress is so important because even as a coach myself, I look at my progress pictures and I'm like, there's no progress. And then you get demotivated, right? But then I show them to my coach, Catherine on our team, and she's like, I literally see a change in your delts or like she said my face looked leaner. And I was like, I would never have noticed that if you hadn't
Mhm.
put that out. And yeah, it can be so motivating and helpful because we see ourselves every single day and it's like every day I heard this analogy every day that you make progress it's like you take a sheet off a roll of toilet paper
That, yeah.
and you just don't notice it every single day but your coach can see that last week we had this much toilet paper and now we have way less so um
Yeah,
super helpful in that sense.
absolutely.
What are the goals you're working on right now? What kind of fitness goals do you have now and what motivates you to be consistent?
Yeah, so right now I'm honestly winding down a little bit of a cut. I probably like 5 pounds away from my goal weight, but I'm doing it very slowly because with a history of like maybe a bad relationship with food, I have to be really careful with how fast I take things because I'm continually trying to maintain a good relationship with food and honor my natural hunger cues to an extent while also trying to cut down to the last 5 pounds and then maintaining muscle and even making sure some muscle growth can happen. So it's been slow and steady. That's kind of what I'm working on right now. What was the other part of the question? I forgot.
What motivates you to be consistent?
Oh, it's kind of hard to say what motivates me. It's just maybe a little bit of a fitness addiction almost, but like it's part of what makes me feel good, makes me feel like me. I would say just how do I put it? It just feels so good to continue to hit goals. I have strength goals and I don't know, it just makes me feel like me to do
Yeah,
that every day. Yeah.
yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those I was listening to some podcast about how or maybe it was in the that book Atomic Habits.
Yes.
In that book Atomic Habits they talk about how real change happens when it becomes part of your identity. So it sounds
Okay.
like,
Yeah.
I think for you and me, we're not really like we don't really need motivation or anything. We don't rely on motivation. It's just who we are, right? I am just a person who goes to the gym. And that's what we try to, help our clients achieve too.
Yeah, that makes me feel better because I'm like, wait a second. If you would have asked me a few years ago, it's like, I want big glutes, I want this, I want that. But at this point, I'm like, this is just what I do, how I feel good, you
Yeah.
know?
I
So
same, but I also want big boobs.
that too, yeah, that part never goes away for sure.
Um, so tell us about your experience coaching. Can you share any examples of maybe a setback that your clients have faced or client has faced and how you help them through that?
Yeah, one of my favorite clients I ever had, I felt like she was just like me a few years back. Was not eating a lot, had her problem stubborn area. She was like late 30s, so she was just kind of like maybe I will just always have belly fat. I've had a few kids, maybe it's just here to stay. Not really eating as much as she could or really training as efficiently as she could. So I really had to take her from like day one stuff of how to cut out junk volume from your training so you're not just spinning your wheels and just like doing 4 sets of 12 and burning through all your energy and actually achieving a strength goal, and try to teach her how to push those calories a little bit and eat a little more. She thought she would gain weight. And by the end of our time together, she was on her way to leaning out like crazy. And she was just completely aghast because she didn't think that doing less workout volume would result in losing fat. But it was, because she was lifting heavier and getting stronger and getting closer and closer to training to failure, and she was fueling herself more. So I really loved how she trusted the process, and I really love how we were able to do something she never thought was possible, which was completely start to change her body composition that she thought was done deal, set in stone. She's pushing 40s. This is just what happens, and we were able to change that.
Yeah, I love that. So
Mhm.
I know we work with a lot of clients who have literally like never lifted weights before. The gym can be a very intimidating place to get started with lifting. How would you help clients, or how have you helped clients who are totally beginners to lifting?
Yeah, when I have newbies in the gym and they are kind of intimidated by that environment, I try to make their workouts like shy girl style workouts sort of thing, where whatever they are currently comfortable with, and then maybe pushing like a little bit beyond that and have that conversation with them. I think machines are a big help, and just keeping it super simple.
Mhm.
So we kind of just start out where they're comfortable and slowly expand as we go, so that they can just kind of grow that comfort. Obviously, the only way is to continue to show up in the gym to build that comfort level, but just meet them where they're at.
Yeah. And what about form?
So form is obviously super huge. You don't want to have the wrong form, injure yourself, whatever. So I think that I have a lot of good analogies in my toolbox. Evaluate their videos, and then just start with basic stuff and slowly get more advanced. Again, machines are really good for that because you don't really have to have the best form on
Yeah.
machines. But we'll start with familiar stuff, and maybe something like a hip hinge that's more
Mm.
advanced. We'll kind of ease into that down the line and work on it together. But I think that for the most part, machines and watching form videos, doing familiar things like lunges and bicep curls, things like that, then we can stick with the safe stuff at the beginning.
Yeah. Totally. That's one of the, great things about BBR coaching is that we actually review people's form videos. It's not like we just give you a plan and you go do it. We really encourage clients to send us their videos and review them in super depth. And this is something like since I work with a BBR coach myself, like I said, I have learned so much from having my coach review my form videos. Even if whether you're beginner or advanced, we can all use a little eye on our form.
Yeah, there's some things you can't see for yourself, so it's always helpful.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
totally. So we've talked a lot about fitness. Let's shift gears and talk a little bit about nutrition. So
Mhm.
how might you, so we work with a lot of clients who are South Asian, Indian American, or Pakistani American. How might you tailor your coaching and to support clients who may have a different diet than you?
Yeah, I think it's really important to take that hands-on approach. And again, not just like say you need to eat high protein or this is a high protein food if they're not used to it. So I like to actually audit their meals with them and try to keep it familiar, but just make a little tweak. Like you can always find little areas where you can make a meal more macro friendly. I don't want them to have to completely forego their familiar favorite comfort foods from their own culture. So we really come together, put our heads together and say, okay, what do you like to eat? How can we make it a little more high protein, add some fiber, make it a little better? And then that way it's still familiar, but you're realizing how this can actually support your fitness goals.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, totally. I think that's really important because if you just cut things out, it's not going to be sustainable. And most of the time, especially with Indian food, like you don't need to cut things out totally. It is just about like, can we add some Greek yogurt or some tofu to this or chicken or whatever to be higher protein? And I don't think that a lot of programs actually teach people how to do that. They're kind of just like, well, you have to go eat chicken and broccoli, you know?
Right.
Do you have any examples of a client success story that you're really proud of? Maybe something that you helped them nutritionally with?
Let me think. Yeah, so I mean, I've had clients where they just simply have never considered the macronutrient composition of their food. Like they're not thinking about, is it high protein? Is it filling? Is it gonna actually keep me full and keep me satiated? Or am I gonna want to binge something? So we've had people that started from, not the best place. And so I had a client where she was doing the keto thing. She was only eating meat and veg, or she was eating lean cuisines for lunch. And we really had to show her how to create a nutrient dense meal that has colors, has some fruit, has some veg, is actually food that she likes and is satiating. And so seeing her go from eating lean cuisine, meat and veg, and see her actually create these filling meals that she can stick to and she's not going to binge on the weekends, that was huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that education is so powerful. It's not like a lot of people don't want to be binging. Nobody teaches us in school. This is how you make a satiating meal. This is how you plate your meals, right? So,
Right.
yeah. Um, cool. Let's go to some fun questions. What is your favorite healthy meal to make?
Favorite healthy meal would probably be protein mac and cheese.
Tell me more about that. Well, how do you add protein to it?
I do chickpea noodles, and I think that the Banza brand honestly they've done some great work. It's one of the only gluten-free pastas I've ever tried that I feel like matches the consistency to wheat pasta the best.
Yeah.
But yeah, it has high fiber, it's higher in protein, and then for the cheese sauce, I'm not gonna take out the base of it. That's like flour and butter. Like you need like a little bit. You need just a teeny bit of butter and flour just to hold it all together. But I add either blended cottage cheese or Greek yogurt, and then I just use regular cheese as well. If I want to add some micronutrients, I'll saute some spinach or something to throw in there too. But yeah, you can easily hit like 50 grams of protein with a bowl of that.
50? Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah,
That sounds amazing. My lactose intolerance could never, but
yeah.
maybe if I downed a thing of lactate, like a
Right.
jar of it. So, are you gluten free? Or do you eat gluten free?
Actually, no, I was for a little
Okay.
bit because of gut issues, but I can eat it again. Yeah,
Okay.
but I still really like the chickpea pasta. It's just really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But actually, you mentioned something about gut health. I know that that's a really big area of interest for you and an area of expertise. Tell us more about that. Like, how did you get into that, and what are some
Yeah,
maybe easy tips for gut health?
for sure. It's a subject I'm super passionate about because when you have gut issues, unless you have a disease of the gut that a doctor can diagnose, you're kind of on your own. They'll address your symptoms, but they don't really have much that they can do for you because that's just not within the scope of Western medicine a lot of the time, unless you find like a really good doctor. So I was kind of on my own solving these gut issues. I had food intolerances that popped up out of nowhere seemingly that I was dealing with for like a year and a half, and then that it was honestly half of the foods that people eat I could not have. So
Wow.
pretty miserable, and obviously I was desperate to figure out a way to be able to reintroduce these foods, researching day and night, like reading books, every podcast I could find on this type of thing. I'm just like, what's wrong with me? And obviously, even avoiding those foods, still having tons of gastrointestinal pain, a ton of bloating. It's just, it takes over your life. And so that's just what I did for a year and a half was just read and read and read and read about gut health and all that. And so I've learned a lot, even about issues that I didn't necessarily have. There's a lot of information out there. So honestly, gut health is so important because it's your immune system is in your gut. So it seriously runs your overall health. I'd say a really common problem with people is low diversity in their gut microbiome. You need to have a lot of diversity in the bugs that live in your gut. And the way you do that is by eating a diverse palette of food. So you really need to be having a wide variety of fruits, vegetables, grains, legumes. That's what the bacteria in your gut feed off of. They feed off of solely carbs.
Okay.
So, yeah, you want to be eating a lot of different kinds of things. So if you're only eating rice and that's all you're eating for every day for your carb, you're not having enough of a diversity to have your gut microbiome be as robust as it could. And then also fermented foods. That's a huge thing you can do to continue to keep robust digestion. Fermented foods are going to be those like living bacteria. And so eating them, it's going to honest even just like as they make their way through your gut, it's going to make your digestion better, and then some of them will even colonize in there and like, take up residence in your gut. And so that's another way to keep your microbiome like super diverse. So that's the number one thing we're starting to learn, microbiologists are starting to learn, is it's the diversity that matters and just eating to support that diversity.
Yeah.
I actually had an overgrowth of bacteria. That's what I found out
Oh,
with a
wow.
GI map test. Yeah. So the bacterial balance matters so much. And so to learn how to eat to support that has been like a game
Yeah.
changer.
Wow. And
Yeah.
your gut issues are sorted now.
Yeah. They're sorted now. Hmm.
That's great. But going back to some of these fun questions, let's do a little rapid fire round. What's your favorite indulgent food?
Probably chocolate. Anything chocolate.
Okay, like dark chocolate, white
Yeah.
chocolate,
It's got to be dark. Yeah. Dark
dark
chocolate.
chocolate. Okay.
Yeah.
Is there a fun fact that most people don't know about you?
Yeah, I've been playing the violin since age 6. Didn't really
Cool.
do it after high school, but recently rejoined a string quartet in my community.
That's
So,
so cool.
yeah, super random, but and I didn't expect it, but I, heard about the string quartet, joined in. I was like, let's do it. So,
That's really neat. And
yeah.
you live in Detroit, right?
Yes.
Cool. Do you speak any other languages?
I do. I did a Spanish language major in college, and
Oh,
then I
cool.
actually ended up doing my corporate job in Spanish for a little bit. Yeah,
Whoa.
I helped out Spanish speaking home buyers for a good while there.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, help them get their mortgage, walk them through the process of buying a home. So I do speak Spanish as a second language.
That's really neat.
Thanks.
What is your biggest pet peeve?
Probably dirty fingernails, like
Dirty.
on me or anyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is your favorite brand of workout clothes?
Oh, that's a toughie. I honestly nowadays I'm really liking Fabletics.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have their subscription?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I keep getting ads for it and the stuff looks really cute. I just feel like I should not have a subscription to workout clothing. I feel like that would not be good for my bank account.
I pause it sometimes
Yeah.
because you can turn it off and on, but I don't know, something about their biker shorts, they're the most comfy in the waist. I hate the ones that squeeze you.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, yeah. So theirs are actually super comfy and breathable. So that's why I really like the brand. Yeah.
And then last question, do you have a celebrity crush?
That's a hard one. I guess it depends. When I was younger, it was definitely like Johnny Depp and Pirates of the Caribbean. I don't know. Maybe now. Austin Butler has been really stealing the show lately.
I don't know who that is. I have to go. I'll Google him after this.
He was in, I don't even like that bike rider movie that came out this past year. And then before that, he was, where did I see him? I think he was in the newer Dune movie too, but he played a really creepy character.
Oh,
That wasn't he was the one who got stuck in the Elvis accent, I think. Did you hear about that
oh, I
actor
just
that
Googled him. He's a good looking dude.
yep,
Yeah.
he kinda is.
So we actually didn't talk about this in the beginning, but we should have. So I do want to ask about it now. So you live in Detroit. Did you grow up
Mhm.
in Detroit?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, in the area.
And then do you live like is your family nearby? What
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, they all kinda live nearby besides my brother. He actually moved to Texas and is working out
Oh,
there.
we're in
Yeah,
Texas.
he is in Austin.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, but everyone else is local. So, like, I'm, like, 15 minutes outside of Detroit. Rest of my family is maybe, like, 45 minutes outside of Detroit, so we're all right around here.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And do you have just one brother or any other siblings?
I have 1 brother and then 2 sisters.
Okay,
Yes.
so are
So
you
there's 4 of us, and I'm second born out of the 4. Yeah.
okay, okay, that's fun. What's the age gap between all of you guys?
My older sister's 2 years older, and then my younger sister is 5 years younger than me, and then my brother is 2 years younger than her. So it's
Okay.
9 years from
That's a
beginning.
yeah, so every 2 or 3 years you get
Yeah, it was like 2 and then a 5-year gap and then 2 more.
yeah, yeah, cool. And then do you have any pets?
Yeah, I have 2 cats. Yeah,
What
they
what are their names?
boy, his name is Salem, and then his younger sister's name is Kiki.
Okay,
Yeah,
cute. I
yeah.
love it. And then are you married? What's your kind of home life like if you're
Yeah,
married?
just single, unmarried, never married.
Okay.
Recently got a roommate just because my house is kind of too big for one person,
Yeah,
and she's actually really cool, and I think we're gonna be really good friends. But
yeah.
it's been like a couple months, so yeah, we're kind of easing into that. Yeah, I
Yeah,
love her.
yeah, I love that. I feel like having roommates, especially in a bigger house, is the best scenario because like
Yeah,
you're on top of each other and you can be friends, but also have your own space.
yeah, we have our own space. We'll meet in like the kitchen. That's the mid area between our spaces. Like when she
Oh
cooks
yeah,
to
I
get
love that.
food or cook, then we'll
Yeah,
spill the tea, catch up, and all that. So it's kind of
yeah,
nice that we can retreat to our spaces after that. So it's
nice.
fun.
And then other than violin and lifting, is there anything else you like to do for fun or any hobbies you have? Like if
Yeah,
you
I'm
had
really
a completely free day, what would you spend it doing?
yeah, baking. I do a lot of sourdough. I got on that train in
Ooh,
the
okay.
pandemic. Yeah, it's honestly, I mean, it's addictive because you want to get the perfect loaf, and then
Yeah.
you could do sourdough anything. You could do sourdough donuts, sourdough cinnamon rolls. So
Ooh,
the opportunity, like the possibilities never end. So yeah, I
yeah,
do a lot of sourdough baking.
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, thanks.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for your time. This was super helpful. Anything else you want people to know about you?
No, I think we covered basically my whole life.
Yeah, I know I did ask a lot.
No, I love it.
But if you guys are interested in working with Coach Whitney, then go ahead, click the link below and apply to work with us. And on your call, just mention that you have a preference for Coach Whitney, and we will do our best to pair you with her based on availability. So thank you, and make sure to follow her on Instagram, you guys, because she posts a lot of amazing content there.